lots of conservatives who point to this not being a normal time in America. This being a crisis moment in America. Not just people on my side of the aisle, but Republican governors, Republican thought leaders. A lot of folks are saying there is a real crisis in our country being caused by the current president, who in 71 days, most people can't say yes. Most people say no to the question, are you better off than you were 71 days ago? So, I want to answer your question by saying this. Everyone should retire with a secure Social Security. I believe there are ways to secure the programs by asking the wealthiest people who pay the smallest percentage of their income into Social Security to pay a little bit more in Social Security taxes on their income, which is minuscule. As you said, there is a gravity of wealth that is being created in this country, which is, again, something I'm not against in terms of just being successful. But this idea that we can have a system that creates a fair retirement is one thing we can do. I think also one of these things we should be talking about right now is how do we make the Social Security system not frustrating for people who complained before Donald Trump laid off tens of thousands of people with Musk. They complained about wait times even then. There are ways we can improve Social Security services as well. So I think we can do things to secure Social Security in the long term with a simple fix. Not by raising the retirement age for people who are struggling, but by doing things by simply saying, do you know what? Social Security taxes are already regressive because they cap out at a certain amount. Maybe skip some of the people in the middle, under $400,000 or $500,000 a year, and make people who are the wealthiest in the country pay a little more. That would be my vision. A very small amount would create a secure system. I think we can also do a lot to improve Social Security services. Then, what I did with Senator Young, this is what's special about this place when it happens. It's for people to reimagine what the economic security could be about. I am now very quietly, I think I have told you about this, I have this great idea that I have been talking about for years called baby bonds, or that every child born in America, and this is not a new idea, we actually scraped it from people years and years ago on both sides of the aisle in here who had this idea that why not, in a capitalist society, have every child born with a savings account, excuse me, a growth account. The government seeds it with some money, and through their entire lives, people can contribute into that tax-free, and it can grow so that by the time, not by retirement, but by the time they are 20, 25, 30, they have thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars to invest in things that create wealth. Because right now, lots of people are working paycheck to paycheck and don't have stock accounts or the kinds of things that could actually produce a lot more wealth. I'm just throwing that out as one idea, Andy. I am going to pause because I know you have another question. And I'm going to yield to a question while retaining the floor. But I just want to say that there are so many bipartisan ideas with which to deal with wealth inequality. I mean, the child tax credit was, unfortunately, not made permanent. It cut child poverty in America in half. It worked for an entire year. I remember some of my colleagues, from Marco Rubio to Mitt Romney, talking about it. Hey, we should be expanding that child tax credit. We should be having a bolder vision for America, for retirement security, for wealth creation, for economic security. But we're not talking about those bold ideas. We have a president who has come in, and one of the first things he has done in his 71 days is insinuate fear and insecurity about Social Security by threatening it, by creating and telling lies about it, and by having somebody like Elon Musk call it a Ponzi scheme. That's why we get fear. Then they take a hatchet to the actual agency that undermines its ability to deliver service in a good way.
Will the senator yield?
I will yield to a question while retaining the floor.
What you raised is absolutely right, and it is front and center in everyone's mind. You know, when my parents immigrated here 50 years ago, they didn't know anybody in the entire Western Hemisphere of the planet Earth. But America called them. It inspired them. I asked them once, what was it that drew you here? And they said that they felt that here in America, they could guarantee that the family they raised, that their kids, me and my sister, we would have a better life and more opportunities than they did. And that was the sense of that generational progress that is made. And now, you know, I am standing here with a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old. I'm hoping fast asleep right now. And I don't know if I can make that same promise to them right now, that I can guarantee them that they will have a better life and more opportunities. So, you know, there is that growing cynicism and pessimism about that American promise I talked to you about, and I just feel like there is an unraveling happening here where we see this sense of concern, and it is being weaponized by some who create that sense of zero sum to push us away from this idea that we are a part of something bigger than all of us, and that we can all lift each other up in that great American project. It is sad, because as we were getting to that 250th anniversary, you know, it should be a time when we rededicate ourselves to the American project, right? Like recommit ourselves to what the next 250 years will be. But we are entering it now with a sense of pessimism on that front. So, you know, I guess my question to you here is, how do we break out of that tailspin on that front?
So, Andy, you have got me really excited.
Yes.
Because I love that you're a millennial. I am an X generation. I love the baby boomers, but they are quickly leaving Congress. This is the last baby boomer president you will ever have. I am confident of that. And new generations are coming forward to lead in America. It is time that we dream America anew. It really is. It is time that we revive and redeem the dream. I am just one of these people who thinks like, okay guys, we have some of the brightest minds on planet Earth. Some of our founding fathers said we need a little revolution every once in a while. Like we need new thoughts and new ideas and new visions that energize people, that take a lot of the old divisions of our country and erase them and remind people that we have common cause and common purpose. I want to get people excited again about the American dream. I want to renew the dream, to redeem the dream. We can do that, and I am so excited about it. And on financial security, it is absurd that we don't have the greatest plan to create wealth, not for the favored few simply. Again, the top quartile in America has crushed it over the last 25 years. Under Obama alone, the stock market doubled. But most Americans don't own stocks. So, people who are sitting on passive wealth were able to grow and grow and grow and grow, while working Americans saw their prices going up, housing becoming unaffordable, and the idea of the American dream under assault. It ticks me off that other countries are trying to out-America us. They are trying to take our secret sauce that we seem to be turning our back on: affordable higher education, apprenticeship programs. I mean, with some of our European competitors, a job just appears before you, and you can go right into an apprenticeship program where you can earn and learn and end up in a career that gives you not just success, but what you thrive in. There is no idea that we can't conceive of as a country. This is an idea and a time that I just think we need to start being bold again in our visions for collective prosperity, for everyone to thrive, not just the favorite few, but the many. I am telling you that those ideas are out there, whether it is in baby bonds or the child tax credit or investing in science and research. There are so many things. But you are, can I say this to you affectionately? You are a nerd, as am I. We are two guys who love to read, who love American history. We are two guys in this body. Go back a century. They never imagined we would be here, would they? Okay? One of my favorite speeches of all time was when Daniel Webster got on Bunker Hill, and he delivered a speech. I'm going to read the introduction to it to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the Revolutionary War battle at Bunker Hill, in which the outnumbered colonists inflicted such heavy losses on the mighty British forces attempting to invade. I love one of the quotes. I can't remember it exactly, but the general, the person who was leading the British attack, wrote in their diary. He wrote back to the king, "We won the battle, but a few more victories like this, and we're going to lose the continent." That is how great these people were. And this is what I want you to know. It is a new generation, right?
Yes.
Those leaders are no longer around. I read this, I get excited by the possibility for our generation and for the new leaders who are emerging in America. They have to. It is their obligation to not let the dream die and to redeem the dream.